7 money mistakes you should avoid at all costs. Mistakes in money management can lead to financial hardships, but there are mistakes that you can avoid by being informed. Most of the mistakes that lead to financial disaster can be prevented with some simple tips. It's never too late to start working towards financial freedom. We all know that earning money is not easy, but it can be done with a little research and practice. Welcome to Stocks Galore, the place for those in passionate pursuit of financial freedom. Smash the like button now, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell to be notified when new videos are released. Personal finance is an important part of wealth creation. Beware of these common financial mistakes to advance your wealth and create peace of mind. Financial mistakes can easily derail your plans to retire early. You might think that you are spending your money wisely, but there are plenty of ways that you can waste it. For instance, using a credit card for convenience sake when you should be using cash. So, in order to avoid mistakes that can lead you into financial disaster, here are 7 money mistakes you should avoid at all costs. 1. Not setting financial goals and priorities. The mistake of not setting financial goals and priorities is one that can have long-term consequences for your finances. If you don't establish a budget, it's likely to lead to overspending, which can be detrimental to your finances. When it comes to budgeting, people often don't know where to start. With so many options and options of options, people can easily get overwhelmed with even the simplest of tasks. With budgeting becoming such a large part of our lives, it can be easy to overspend and end up in debt. However, there are ways to reduce your spending habits and stay within your budget. Setting financial goals and priorities is a crucial part of any plan for personal financial success. A lack of focus on these 2 key areas can lead to the following mistakes: not knowing how much money you need to live on, not understanding what your current consumption patterns are costing you, not being able to adjust your spending according to your income, spending more than you earn, which leads to higher interest rates, more debt, and lower savings rate. 2. Overborrowing money. The first step to losing your wealth is overborrowing. Just like taking on more debt than you can afford, there are few things worse than taking on more debt than you originally planned for. Avoidance of this mistake makes it easier to pay off loans and repay what you owe without any hiccups or surprises in the future. It's important to avoid overborrowing money. This is because it can lead to debt and other financial difficulties. Overestimating your income and borrowing to the point where you can't pay it back is a big mistake. You'll end up in debt with no money to save or put toward investments. The solution: manage your finances carefully before you take on any debt. Using a credit card is not only expensive but also dangerous to your personal finances. Although it's easy to use, there are many fees associated with using a credit card that can make the cost of using one very high. A common mistake people make is using their credit card for convenience or emergencies, when they really should be saving up money or examining their finances. The mistake of getting into debt is one that many people struggle with. It's the belief that you can always pay off your debt by saving more. Unfortunately, that simply isn't true. Sometimes you need to take on a debt to make yourself more financially stable. There are 3 different types of debt, and they each serve a different purpose. Short-term loans, typically for emergency purposes or if you are struggling to meet basic life expenses like rent or food for the month. Short-term credit cards. These are good for emergency uses as well. Long-term loans. These are best used if you have goals like buying a home or starting a business. While most people can make financial mistakes, it is important to learn from them and see what you can do differently next time. This is why many people make the mistake of getting into debt. The more money you spend now, the less you have to spend later on. So if you're tempted to go into debt by buying something on sale today, but will need it in a few months, take a step back and think about what it is that would really be worth the investment. Buying something unnecessary now with the intention of paying it off later with borrowed money is a bad idea. It's hard to pay back all the interest, and if interest rates increase, this can be an even bigger problem. 3. Paying for unnecessary monthly expenses. The average American spends $8,000 per year on unnecessary monthly expenses. This includes things like gym memberships, streaming services, and subscriptions. With the technology of today, it is easy to cancel these subscription services or find cheaper alternatives. Overspending on monthly expenses can be a costly mistake. However, you need to make sure that you are not spending more than what your income can cover. There are many ways to cut back on monthly expenses without taking drastic measures. 4. Not having an emergency fund. Personal finance experts agree that you should have at least 6 months of living expenses saved up in case of emergency. Sticking to a budget and saving daily is the best way to save for your emergency fund. Many people find themselves in debt or otherwise financially strapped. Having an emergency fund is important for avoiding debt. It gives you a little bit of breathing room so you can take care of your basic needs without having to worry about saving the extra money. 5. Not investing your money. The mistake of not investing your money is twofold. First, people spend their money on items that won't help them grow their net worth meaningfully. Second, people don't save enough to have the lifestyle they want, which is something else that can be done with proper investments. The best way to invest your money is to put it into a savings account for the short term and then invest it into stocks or mutual funds that you know will yield better returns in the long term. In recent years, people have been investing their money in different assets, such as stocks and bonds. Investing in assets is a good way to make more money, but it comes with risks. Some of these risks include market fluctuations and risk of losing your money. While investing in assets can be a good thing to do, one should never invest more than what they can afford to lose. If someone invests too much without putting any budget on their investments, they will end up losing all the capital that they invested because the asset will not appreciate as it may have done in the past. Also, if you're not investing in your future, you're doing yourself no favors. Your retirement or other large financial goal could be on the line. When it comes to college, student loans are usually the only option. The thought of not being able to attend college scares students off from taking their education seriously. But if you invest in your future in other ways, you can avoid unnecessary debt and make great decisions for your career in the future. 6. Not saving money for retirement. What does retirement mean to you? For some people, retirement is as simple as leaving work and enjoying all of the free time they can get. For others, it means building a nest egg for their golden years. And for some, retirement means living on a fixed income from Social Security and your career savings. It's not easy to save money these days. With rising costs, it can be difficult to put away enough money for the future. Watching your budget carefully is essential for staying on track. Many Americans were not planning ahead to save for retirement. The median account balance is $16,000, and nearly 2/3 of people aged 55 and over have no retirement savings. These unfortunate statistics can be attributed to a combination of poor planning and the cost of living outpacing wages. 7. Overspending money. The mistake of overspending is when people spend money that they don't have in order to buy things that are too expensive. It can be caused by either being financially irresponsible or just being out of control with the consumption of the items. It is so easy to fall into this trap since consumption has become a way of life for us. People always want more and more until they realize their budget has been exhausted and their credit card balance has been charged up to the limit. They start making choices between necessities and luxuries, which often leads them to regretting what they have done. Buying products because they are advertised can be seen as a waste of money. People may buy things that they don't actually need simply because they are advertised on television, online, or by word of mouth. This is known as the halo effect, where people trust the brand without question and only purchase a product when it's in their hands. The rise of advertising has led to an increase in the purchase of things that are advertised, rather than because they are needed. These include beauty products, toothbrushes, and hair care brands. The over-reliance on ads is also contributing to our unsustainable consumer society. What's the difference between wealth and money? Wealth is generally defined as anything that provides someone with an advantage or opportunity. Wealth is the accumulation of things that make life better. Money, on the other hand, is a form of wealth that can be used for transactions. Money is used to acquire wealth. Money is not just about having it in your pocket. It's about being able to buy what you want without having to worry about financial restraints. Money is simply an exchangeable commodity that allows people to trade goods and services at varying values. In other words, wealth is what makes life comfortable and money is what you use to make your life more comfortable. In order for a person to have wealth, they must create it first. However, having money does not necessarily mean that one has wealth. Having a lot of money doesn't necessarily mean that you're wealthy because the two concepts are not the same thing. Bonus: money mistakes you should avoid. 1. Lending money indiscriminately. Interest rates are rising, but so is the cost of living. Lending money indiscriminately may seem like an attractive option, but it can put a strain on your finances and your health. It may seem like a good idea at the time, but lending money indiscriminately can lead to financial disaster if something goes wrong with the individual who borrowed money from you. Before you decide to loan your cash, it is important that you consider the implications of the lending decision. Consider whether or not this person can repay the money, and what would happen if they cannot. 2. Investing too much in high-risk ventures. When every penny counts, every dollar counts twice. This is the mantra that has driven many people to invest in high-risk ventures. These ventures are often very high return, but they also carry a higher level of risk. While the risk might be worth it for some people, it is not always worth it for others. 3. Paying late fees on everything. You might think that paying late fees on everything is a good way to save money, but there are consequences to this. When you're always late in your payments, it can affect your credit score and cause you to spend more in the long run. Conclusion. The best way to begin building wealth is to start avoiding these 7 money mistakes. We've all heard the saying, money isn't everything, but that doesn't mean that it is not important. There are many mistakes people make when they try to build wealth. Some of these mistakes are costly, while others cost time and effort. We all have different budgets that we need to work with, so it is important that you know which mistakes not to make in order to save money. If you truly want to build wealth, you should start focusing on what is important and take action. So there you have it. If you enjoyed this video, smash the like button now and subscribe to our channel to be notified when new videos are released.